Jordan, thank you so much for joining me on the Member Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am stoked. Let's jump right in. Let's tell
Okay.
everybody what your business does.
Okay, so my business is Flipbird Films, and we are a boutique video production agency dedicated to the craft of storytelling. So, all things visual, all things story, all things video and film.
I love it. That's awesome. And who do you serve primarily?
I would say small businesses as well as tech companies, nonprofits, universities, and now we're making our way into originals, so just regular audience.
Amazing. Yeah, you guys serve anyone trying to create a video, right? And trying to create a
Yeah.
story. I think you guys are really unique for me because it's almost like you guys are really looking for clients that have something that is almost like compelling. I don't compelling is
Mm-hmm.
not the right word, but I feel like you guys have really focused on working with people that have something that you can help them share in a different light or in a more emotional light, right? And so
Totally.
it's been really fun to watch that. But yeah, overall, you can service anybody that has that story that they want to share, essentially.
Yep.
Cool.
Anyone trying to tell their story.
Yeah, and then you just said something that was really interesting because I know that's a recent evolution, but a big thing that you've been working on strategically over the last half year has been around this original content, right? So you have this
Mm-hmm.
great, video production company and storytelling company, but I think the big thing was the original content. So talk to me about what that looks like and what your goals are here and why you're doing that.
Yeah, so original is something is the reason why we even started the business. We
Awesome.
want to make films and tell stories on a larger scale. And so in the past actually 2 years, we've been developing a whole bunch of original content, skewing from our space docu-series, which is really fun. We've partnered with Cormac and Wevolver, and so we've created a series dedicated to all the engineering feats in space. And so that's out on YouTube. And then we've also been developing um, a documentary that takes place in Cuba. And our goal with this is just to create and tell inspiring stories that people wouldn't know about or hear about otherwise. And for us, it's a creative challenge because that's our craft, right? Is storytelling. And so, what better way to hone our craft than on a longer, bigger scale?
I love that. And I definitely think that it's one of the most interesting businesses to operate and make successful because you're trying to take something that is very, very creative and almost superfluous, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
sense of how do you measure creativity? How do you measure
Mm-hmm.
inspiration? How do you measure these things and make money doing it? And I think that it's
Mm-hmm.
really interesting the journey that you guys have taken to create stories for corporations, and now you're at a state in the company where you can now use that to create, and then the
Mm-hmm.
new rubric would be general population just watching it essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that journey though? Because I'm almost positive you didn't start off immediately having enough money to start doing original content.
Oh
It's
yeah.
been a
It's been a
it's been
dream.
it's been a journey to getting to this point, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
walk me through the origin story of your professional career. Like, what did you do
Okay.
before this, before you started Flipbird Films?
So before Flipbird, Lorenzo and I'm one of my partners. We had another production company, which was very much our beta version of what we have now. It was a lot of trial and error, a lot of just pure creativity. Let's just see if this works. Throw spaghetti at the wall. We did a ton of music videos, a ton of club videos, and a lot of weddings. And then that fell apart, as you know. And so I think around that time is when we became re-engaged and we are like, all right, let's do our 2.0 version of this. And I think a lot thanks to you, not I think, but I know a lot thanks to you, we are a completely different business than we were when we were operating our first company. And that is because now we have operational rigor, which we never had before being a creative business. We were just like, let's just make the coolest art. And that was great, but it was really hard to build a business off of that.
Yeah, that's
Um,
amazing. I before you go on further about this, and I love I can definitely add to this story for sure because I had so much fun building the business with you, and so much so that I became a part of Flippers. Right, I've actually
mhm,
now invested in it and now become
mhm.
one of the owners. But I will say that I'm curious as to what you did even before the previous
Even before,
business.
yeah,
Yeah, like did you
okay,
have because that's also an entrepreneurial experience, and
yeah,
whether it was good or bad, or
yeah.
failed or not, what did you do to make that jump? Like, what were you doing?
So I was working a tech job, and I was sitting in my cubicle, and I literally felt my soul dying. I was like, this can't be life. I knew I had hit a, a, a metaphorical bottom when the highlight of my week was donut day. And I was like, this can't be it. It was like Wednesdays. Wednesdays were donut days. And I was like, yeah. And Zoe, again, I had lived abroad in several different countries and fallen in love with the camera just naturally. And Zoe was like, hey, you take really good pictures. Come check out this other startup media company. And I went and I worked on a music video. I was like, this is fucking cool. This
Yeah.
is what I want to do. And so to bridge that, I ended up getting laid off from the tech job. And then I worked at a pizza place in North Beach and an Italian restaurant. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna like make stuff. And my parents are like, that's a nice hobby, but what are you really gonna do? I'm gonna do this. And so I left the tech world, which ironically, you get good money, super easy or
Yeah.
easier, and then
Easier,
made
yeah.
this bridge into this very unknown territory because there's no artists in my family, there's no creatives in my family. So deviating was really, really hard. And then did that. And then from there, I worked at the restaurants and then just hustled. And then one gig turned into two. And then we built our company, started
I had
building our first
no
company.
idea that you did that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So you had a
Yeah.
tech job,
I
and
had a tech
so
job.
when I talk to you about like different things that I'm trying to like share with you, you actually have some context
Mm-hmm.
in the 9 to 5 cubicle life. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then your parents thought you were crazy, but you worked at a pizza joint
Yeah.
to make ends meet because it provided
Yeah.
what the flexibility you needed to offset the cost to take this risk.
Yeah, it was my friend's pizza place, so I was able to slide in there super easily. And yeah, it was just enough to offset my living costs. And then just became really, really scrappy. Like, just hustled, 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 hustled.
So cool. I had no idea, Jordan. That's so
Hmm.
fun to hear this story. And but you basically based this on the fact that you knew in your heart that this wasn't it. And when you went to that music video shoot, you're like, this is it. And you were willing to
Hmm.
take that leap of faith and do weird random jobs to make
Weird.
the ends meet to go
Yeah,
pursue this. When
yeah.
did you know that you could stop doing those things and go full time into this? Was it just simply money? Was it a simple money
I
calculation
don't
or?
think it was simply money, it was more of a time thing. I
Mm,
think I realized that in order for me to really do what I needed to do, I couldn't be limited by a schedule. So like if I needed to shoot or I needed to travel or I needed to do whatever, I couldn't have a set schedule that already took time off of the books. And so I did so many things. Like I lived at home for a while. I mean, being in the Bay, it's not like you could just easily get a place to live that's cheap. So I made a lot of sacrifices in order to do the creative thing full time. And mind you, I'm an international business major, so I never took any creative classes, nor film classes, nor nothing. So all of this
what?
is super unknown.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wild. So you really took a leap of faith when you started
Hmm.
this business, and you
Yeah.
really took a huge risk, sacrificing, a lot of different, um, your education,
Hmm.
your comfortability, your
Hmm.
risk aversion, all of that stuff, and you made this work. And ultimately, the
Hmm.
decision wasn't even fiscal. Ultimately, the decision to jump full ship was, if I'm going to make this work, I need to be available fully for it, the time
Yeah.
commitment to it.
Yeah.
And so you just
Yeah.
took that leap of faith and you said, I'm going for it. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Baller. That is amazing.
Hmm.
If I think you've already kind of summed it up, but I want to ask very distinctly, what was the biggest learnings that you've had from your business? Like, if you could just sum up one or two things that you think were like the most monumental learnings about building the successful business you have now.
I would back to the fiscal point. If you do have an opportunity to save before you make the leap, I mean, it just gives you a little bit more peace of mind because I'm not like the best with finances. it'll work out. But luckily, I was able to have a little bit from the pizza place and the tech job, and then also I was very blessed with family to be able to live at home and do all of that stuff. And then I would say the biggest learning is whatever amount of time you think things are going to take, double, triple, quadruple that
Oh,
because
wow.
it's it's been a long journey, like
Yeah.
me and Zoe used to think that if we went viral on YouTube, that was it. Like we'd make it, and
Yeah.
we did go viral early on with this DJ Calvin Harris. We did a video, and he put it on his thing, and it like went crazy. It went crazy, and then that was it. So we're like, okay, there's a lot more to sustainability than just like virality. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say the time factor, and I'm an impatient person, and so I think that things should have happened yesterday. And so through this process, through this journey, as you know too, through this journey, I'm just like, what's the rush? Like we're all going, we're gonna get there, and the to-do list isn't gonna go away, so why rush through it? You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna keep stacking.
That's so funny. And I've been learning a lot from you about this as being a business owner as well. It's just like, you know, um, it's it's a really interesting mindset because you know me, right? I'm like, I think
Hmm.
the reason why Flipbirds work so well now is because I'm the opposite of you. I'm like,
Totally.
absolutely not. We said we're gonna do
Yeah.
these 5 things. Let's go get it.
Yeah.
Ah! And I've been learning a lot about smelling the roses as you go, enjoying the
Hmm.
journey,
Hmm.
to putting deposits into different, aspects of your life.
Hmm.
And it's been really good for me. It's been good for me to
Hmm.
think about things more holistically. And I've been on this really great journey with you, just kind of
Hmm.
as fellow business owners, like learning
Hmm.
from each other and each other's
Hmm.
perspective. And I think that's what it's all about, right? It's like going on these
Totally.
journeys and learning and figuring out how to do it better. Because
Hmm.
what I'm realizing, success is not, and this is something that I've learned from you and watching you build your business. Success is not a binary thing. It's not just make money.
Hmm.
It's make money at what cost,
Hmm.
at what lifestyle decisions, what
Hmm.
friendships,
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
what degree of mental health, physical health,
Health,
all, yeah,
physical,
all of
yeah.
these things. Yeah, and I
Hmm.
think there's a lot of rubrics and barometers to this, and it's really fun to watch you build your business into this very successful thing while you incorporate so many other elements of success into it. And so,
Totally.
thank you for sharing that. Cool. Let's talk more tactically about Owners Club.
Okay.
When did you level up your business? When was the big moment you're like, okay, this is, because we talked about operational rigor, and I think that
Yeah.
was the triggering point. But like,
Hmm.
what was the big like light bulb moment where you're like, okay, now we're a real business?
What a good question. I would say, okay, so Flipbird is just about 3 years old. Um, and I would say the first 2 years was, well, during the pandemic, so it was like survive and then building all the processes and the systems was like such a new foreign thing to us. So I would say honestly, maybe like about a year ago is when I felt the shift. because we had implemented operational rigor, because we had implemented a lot of the 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 things that you had suggested, I all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but I felt a weight lift off of me where I personally didn't have to be the one doing everything.
Hmm.
We had we have a crew, we have a team, we have partners, and so delegation kicked in, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, wait, I can have a
Hmm.
life. I can like think. Because prior to that, it was like, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this. And then through the infrastructure that we've built over the past couple of years, I felt that shift into, okay, I have space now. I have space to think. I have space to create. I have space to have a life and, things outside of work. And so I would say about a year ago is when I felt it, when I could like kind of slow down a little.
Dude, I love that. Yeah. And I also love that we were able to build those systems, right? Like the fiscal
Mm-hmm.
visibility, the
Mm-hmm.
CRM, like all of
Mm-hmm.
these tools that you can use to like track and measure your business. Because not
Yeah.
only is it easier to delegate or spread the load, it's also
Mm-hmm.
easier to just get off your mind because you know there's a
Totally.
system to like make it work.
Yeah.
There's protocols.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to do every single thing, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's really, really helpful for all businesses trying to look at like scaling, or even if you don't want to
Yeah.
scale, but just like
Yeah.
getting some sanity, like
Yeah.
put some of these systems in place because it's super helpful. I love that.
So helpful.
That's actually a very I'd agree with you. That's the pivotal
Yeah.
point for Flipbirds is
Yeah.
like when you guys started implementing a lot of these like
Yeah.
visibility and reports and dashboards and
Totally.
systems. Yep.
Yeah, and I think like in January when I rebuilt Notion, implementing all of the things that you had taught us, then it for me I was like, ooh, we get ultimate visibility. We get ultimate organization because then we have content calendar, we have CRM on there, we have our owner's dashboard, we have a crew task thing, so we can
Yeah,
for
strategic
my friend,
plans, ops
yeah,
plans, yeah, everything.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. And you
yeah,
totally like optimize the process. It's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, you made it
yeah,
your own.
yeah,
It's really great.
yeah,
I do
yeah.
have a question about like how did you know when to ask for help?
Mm.
Because that's an interesting one for me because
Mm-hmm.
like why did you do that and when did you know you needed that? Because I think 90% of small business owners just to think that that's normal to
Yeah,
just like keep going down this road of like
yeah,
doing everything, because you were reasonably successful in like
yeah,
societal terms. Your business was
yeah,
doing good. It was making good
yeah,
money, but
yeah,
you guys were busy. You guys were busy
yeah,
and it was always feast or famine. You guys had a lot of money or
yeah,
didn't have enough money and like
yeah,
it was all over the place, but like that's normal. That's how all
yeah,
business owners are. And
yeah.
I mean, most of them are. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious as to what made you go, no, I need to like ask for help. Like what made that happen? What was that triggering point?
I think from our experiences with our first company, I could see in hindsight a lot of our areas that needed improvement. And I knew personally with my skill set and my background and Zoe, like I know Zoe inside and out, and then adding Mike into the mix, I knew where our shortcomings were. And there's we could lie to ourselves and be like, oh, we'll figure it out, but why waste 3, 4, 5 years trying to figure out something when there's experts and people with proven track records that could help you? That's the whole point of having a mentor, right? Is like,
Yeah.
why waste all this time trying to reinvent the wheel when you know? And so I think it was from our experience in our first company that I was
Mm.
like, okay, if we want to grow this into a sustainable business, where, because before everyone was on a per project basis, which is cool, but it's hard to grow as a company if you're not giving your crew or yourself peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, I don't know when my next paycheck is. We'll start to lose talent because then people are going to start to look. And so it was like a motivating factor of like, I want to be able to provide for our team in a way that people can build lives off of, right? Like we can
Dude, it's
use
awesome.
that. And so I think that was my trigger is like, okay, we can't do the same thing. That'd be silly. Let's let's level up. And for us to level up, let's be real with ourselves and know that okay, we're not that good at this. We're not that good at operations. Cool. cool. And it was so synchronistic when we had met up because that's your fucking specialty. And so when that happened, I was like, oh, dude, okay, let's
Yeah,
go.
we started jamming pretty quickly. It was very natural. Yeah, it felt
So
amazing
natural.
from day
Yeah,
one. Yeah, it was a natural fit because the compliments were just like perfectly fitting.
yeah.
That's awesome. Let me ask you more directly on Owners Club. So, because
Yeah.
I think the Owners Manual framework was designed over the last few years,
Mhm.
kind of using you guys as a guinea
Mhm.
pig. I mean, it wasn't
Mhm.
formalized. I was
Yeah.
working with you on this system already, and then I realized
Yeah.
that that same system worked on all these other companies that,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, what? This is like all the same. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what it is. And so
Yeah.
it's really fun talking to you about all this because you were part of the genesis of building out this framework,
Mhm.
and it's really fun to like be able to share this framework with more people because Flipbird Films has a huge part in it. Like I was able to
Mhm.
test it out on the first like 10 businesses and like
Mhm.
really optimize this process. But I want to ask more directly about the Owners Club because that's the new
Yeah.
thing that we've launched.
Mhm.
I want to say like, how has Owners Club helped you?
I think just having a community of business owners that you could bounce questions, ideas off of, just knowing you're not alone in this journey. Because we talk about all the time, building a business from scratch is hard
Yeah.
and it's lonely, and sometimes you just feel like you're the only one on this rock. And I think Owners Club, aside from all the tactical, practical things, just having that sense of camaraderie where like, oh, y'all are struggling with leads, okay, us too, oh, y'all struggling with this, oh, us too, or like just also being able to celebrate wins,
Yeah.
oh, we closed this deal, oh, we did this, and it's a cool community. I don't know where else you would find that sense of connection, and everyone's so cool and from such different businesses and backgrounds, I think, but the struggle and the uniting factors, like we're all building this. No one has the quick fix, right? Like everyone's on this journey and it's going to take time, but it's cool that we have each other.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. I'm going to turn that into a commercial for Owners Club, Jordan.
Okay.
Your face is going to be my mascot. If you could say one thing to all the other business owners out there that are considering joining, what would you tell them?
Do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Don't even think about it. I think it's just there's so much cool stuff that you don't even know you're missing in terms of like operation stuff, system stuff, and then the community, like I mentioned. And
Yeah.
you get to meet other cool business owners, you know?
Duh. That's
Duh.
right. Jordan, thank you so much for doing this member spotlight with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know you're super busy, but more than anything, I just appreciate your friendship and your cross mentorship. I've learned just as much from you as I hope that you've learned from me, and it's been so fun being on this business ownership journey with you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk soon.